I'm here with Julia Frere. Julia, you are amazing. Like, you have done so much in the sustainability world, in the materials world, in the music world as well. So I'm so glad that you made a little bit of time in your day to talk to me. And we're going to be talking about something very exciting, which is the Empowering Women in STEM book. I know you are chapter 7, lucky chapter 7. And in your chapter, you talk about so many interesting things because I think a lot of times we think about STEM and we think, oh my God, that's the, creepy crawly math and the science. And we're like, what about the arts involved in it? And I know there's this debate going about between whether it should be STEM or if it should be STEAM, where A is included. I am all for the A, because I think arts are part of everything that we do and is so related to science and everything else. But Julia, tell us a little bit about what you do and like what happens on a regular day.
Sure, thanks. I guess it's interesting just first about the idea of the STEM versus STEAM and
Ah,
incorporating the arts.
mm-hmm.
I have been thinking a lot about the analytical and creative sides of
Right.
me and how they can coexist in the same brain
Yeah.
because they absolutely can and do. And so I think there's maybe a lot of stereotypes
Mm-hmm.
of engineers
Oh
and
yeah.
scientists.
Yeah.
And I appreciate the work you're doing to dispel that and say there are lots of different
Yes.
types of people who are involved in these fields. Anyway, what I do right now is I run a company that I rebranded
Mhm.
this year in 2025 to Material Value Consulting.
Right.
I've been self-employed for a very long time. What I'm leaning into right now, I love working with companies that are forward thinking, that
Yes.
are in maybe either inventing new materials,
Wow.
thinking about different ways to use
Mm-hmm.
existing materials,
Mm-hmm.
and ways to reduce waste,
Oh yeah.
whether that's replacing disposables with reusables,
Mm-hmm.
finding more efficient ways to do things that consume less water, all of that. And
Right.
when there are companies that are working on doing that, sometimes they're trying to disrupt their industries in a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And the customers don't always understand.
Yeah.
I help them really think about how to talk about what they do
Mm-hmm.
and how to maybe dispel some common myths about
Right.
the circular economy. What does that mean? I don't
Yeah.
want to get all into that here.
Oh yeah.
But one of the things I love doing talks and workshops
Right.
where it's not just I'm going to spit out a bunch of information
Yeah.
at you. It's I'm going to share this. Now let's talk about it. And what does it have to do with your work
Yes.
and your company? What questions can I ask
Oh yeah.
that get people thinking, oh, I
Mm.
hadn't considered that?
Yep. Definitely. And there are so many things that until I hear about it, I've never really considered it. And somebody recently told me about the amount of water and the amount of wastage that goes into producing a pair of jeans. And it's not something I ever thought about before. Like, how do you get that blue dye of that jeans? It's not a regular dye, right? So if you're interested in that, look it up. It blows your mind really, with the amount of stuff that is involved in that. And there's a lot of water involved in manufacturing that we don't often see. And we
Absolutely.
and we
Yes.
think, oh my gosh, yes, this is a clean product, this is wonderful and this is great, but it may be harming the environment in some cases. So I'm so glad you brought that up, Julia. Definitely glad you brought that up. We could probably have a whole other conversation about that as well. But tell me a little bit about why you wrote the chapter for the Empowering Women in STEM book. Like, what was your inspiration behind it?
Well, first, one of your other co-authors brought up the project to me and invited me. Or I don't know if you call us co-authors, whatever. Anyway,
Yes.
the chapter authors. I, it's twofold.
Mhm.
It's a chance to tell my story, and maybe
Mhm.
that can inspire other people.
Yes.
I was just talking to somebody the other day who said, "Oh, material science? I
Yeah.
didn't know that's a thing you could major in college."
Right?
And
Yeah.
they're thinking maybe that might be a path for them.
Right. Good.
Yeah. Um, so I can inspire other people. It also gave me an opportunity to look back at
Oh,
some of the formative experiences that I
yeah.
had. I went back to journals that I
Yeah.
had journal entries from 1990, I think, 90,
Wow.
91, that kind of time frame. I'm
Mm-hmm.
older than I might appear. Anyway, that was when I was in grad school. And I
Mm-hmm.
looked back at what did I say
Mm-hmm.
in those. And I include actually a
Wow.
quote from that.
Yes, I
So,
remember. I remember seeing that.
yeah, so I think it can be it's not that I've journaled all the time,
Hmm.
every day, morning pages, this kind of thing, because some people do that. But I have found it's often a good way to work through when
Yes.
you're having to make a difficult decision or something's just eating at you. Anyway, so writing the chapter gave me a chance to really think about that story. How does it all fit together?
Hmm.
How has it made me who I am
Right.
today? And
Yeah.
also a chance to appreciate the role that my parents played.
Hmm.
And shortly before my mom died, I was able to read her part of the chapter.
Oh, that's so nice.
And too bad she can't still be around, but you know what? I I had her
Yeah.
with me for a long time.
Nice.
And
Yes.
Dad's still around and he appreciates it. So,
Yes. Yes. And she has read the chapter, I'm sure. She
yes.
has. She has a subscription to CRC Press up there. Yeah. But you did a great job on the chapter though, and you do talk a lot about their influence in the chapter as well. And I think sometimes you have to take that step back, or you have to be at a particular stage in your life to really understand what happened all the way back then. Like I love the fact that you talked about going back into the journals and looking over what you had and what you had written, because while you wrote that, I'm not doing the math because I really can't at this point. While you wrote that some time ago, um I know you still found the passion and the purpose involved in it. And you saw that and you remember that from that age. And I think that's one of the things that a lot of people don't realize that helps them to carry through with everything else that happens in life. All of the curveballs and all of the, everything else that happens, it's so randomly, but in such a good plan throughout our lives, and having that support system is very important. But you talked a lot about music and the influence of music in your life. And I think sometimes we forget, or we try to think that if you're in the STEM fields, it must be this very hard and arduous and rigorous task that involves just numbers and that's it. And it has no creativity in terms of the music side of it. So tell me a little bit about the music side and in what you do, because I found it was just very interesting when you did the chapter.
Thank you. One interesting thing, my sophomore year in
Mhm.
college, I played, this was a small ensemble of wind instruments, like 10 of us who were accompanying the choir.
Yeah.
And I think just about all of us were math or science or engineering
What?
majors.
That's so
And so
interesting.
there is a lot of overlap. Now, an interesting thing there in terms of those of us who read music, and I
Hmm.
learned to read music when I started playing the piano when I was 7. So sometimes I
Wow.
say I read music like I read English. I mean, I learned to read English before the age of 7, but not that much
Yes.
before, right? Maybe when I was 5. So the like figuring out rhythms.
Hmm.
There's math. behind
Yes,
that.
there is.
There's math behind just how instruments are in tune with each other and the
Mhm.
different sounds that the instruments make. There is all
Mhm.
that behind it.
Yeah.
And at the same time, when you're performing and playing, it's listening.
Ah, I didn't think
It's
about that.
listening to the other players. I play
Hmm.
in this flute choir.
Hmm.
There are, it depends, between 5 and 8 of us, depending on how many people can show up at any one time. I love playing in those small groups.
Hmm.
We are really, as I said, listening to each other. We are all, we all have, I'm trying to think of what the word is, but basically we work really well together. There's
Ah,
no divas.
oh
Sometimes with
yes.
flute players, they're all like, yes, I'm the best. I can play it better than anybody else. And how dare anybody else have the
Oh my
solo?
gosh.
There's none of that. We
Hmm.
share that around.
Nice.
And so it's playing music together. And one of the things
Hmm.
I realized during the pandemic,
Hmm.
when we couldn't play music with anybody,
Hmm.
I really missed that. And it was
Um,
harder for me to just play on my own,
right.
which I mean, I did some, but it's very much a social thing
Yeah.
for me,
Hmm.
in addition to the expressiveness and working on the
Right.
balance and the music and everything. So it
Nice.
really does use lots of different parts of the
It
brain.
does. It does. And it helps to balance it all off. We're not all left-brained or right-brained. We have a full brain and we need to use it to its full capacity. I'm glad that you
Absolutely.
do.
Yes. And I think that everybody should learn to play an instrument
Yes,
or
yes.
at least sing or both.
Some form of
Some
fashion.
form. I think it is really an important part
I
of
think so
education. And
too.
some people will continue to do it for
Yeah.
decades, like
Hmm.
I have, and other people may decide it's not for them.
Yeah, and that's totally okay. Like, just try
Yeah.
it. That's the thing. You just have to try it and then you'll figure out, do I want to do this or do I not want to do this? You know? So I'm so glad you helped to bring that message to us. How would you inspire other people, yeah, younger people to get into STEM or even those who are in a different field right now and they're thinking about crossing over, the big crossover into the STEM fields? What would you tell them to inspire them to get involved?
I think that sometimes listening to professionals who are in STEM fields
Ah,
in some way and listen to us share our passion.
nice.
Because for me, it's that material stuff that I discovered in college. Somebody else might be fascinated about something else.
Mm-hmm.
When I talk to students, and I've given several guest
Yes.
lectures recently at the University of Washington, I love doing that, listening to what the next generation
Hmm.
is concerned about. And a lot of them are concerned with making the world a better place.
Yes, that's so good.
And you know what? Science, technology,
It,
engineering, those things are part of it.
yep.
And there are so many different paths and ways of incorporating different STEM fields, but we need those people, and we
Yeah.
need those people with the passion for using that knowledge to make the world a better place. Now, some people are just amazingly great at math. I was pretty good at it growing up, but I wasn't genius level.
Yeah.
And so they may tend towards the more math heavy
Right.
fields, but that's not everything.
No, so many
If
things
you can
don't need it.
understand high school algebra, there's so many STEM fields that are open to you,
Yeah.
and you don't have to delve deeper unless you really want
Yeah.
to. And there are some, again, STEM jobs where, yes, the people are really deep into advanced math, complex computer programming, really figuring out how the world works.
Hmm.
That's fantastic. If
Not
that's you,
everybody. Yeah.
go for it.
Hmm.
If that's not you, there are many also adjacent fields.
Yes.
Because I shifted over, I was always the engineer who would write. I learned that I loved public speaking when I was in college,
Nice.
which kind of it all came as a big surprise to me.
Yeah.
So I advise young people to try different things out
Hmm.
and to not necessarily have assumptions
Yep.
about what a certain degree means for their entire career or the expectations
Right.
of their parents or their
Yeah.
friends or what have you, and to explore. Harvey Mudd College, where I went undergrad, offered and still does a general engineering degree,
Ah,
not choosing a
yeah,
specific field of engineering. I
that
wish more
helps.
schools would do that because young people, I mean, some of them really maybe they do know and they do have a very specific field that they're interested in, but I think just keeping your options open
Yes, very
and
important.
if you're looking at what degree to get, look at the course requirements.
Yeah.
Talk to students who are a little bit older who are majoring in the fields that you're
Yes.
considering,
Yes,
or talk
definitely.
to alumni
Yes. Easy,
and
easy enough.
learn from their experience. And if they talk about what they're doing and you say, oh, wow,
That
that's
sounds
so cool, I want
interesting.
to do that, then explore it. If they talk about that and you say,
Oh
oh my
dear
God, that is
God,
so
no.
boring, or no, I don't want to do that for this
Mm,
reason or that,
yeah.
then that's not it. But I just to be open-minded and to recognize that we need
We
people
need
with lots of
everybody.
different areas of expertise and interests
Mm-hmm.
to use STEM fields to make the world a better place.
Yes, definitely. It's like choosing an ice cream flavor. You can't choose chocolate all the time, right? Sometimes you have to try pistachio, unless you're allergic. But definitely try the different flavors. That's what makes the wheel go around. You can't all have chocolate. But thank you so much for helping us with that, Julia. I love the way that you put it because I think people need to be able to find what aligns with them and nobody can tell them what aligns with them. They will be the ones to know that. And I think that's a very important point, especially for people now getting into the field or people who have been in the field for some time and they're like not realizing that, okay, this doesn't really align with me. Maybe I should be thinking about something else,
The
Great piece
other
of
thing I
advice.
tell people, young people, is you don't have to have it all figured out by the time you're
No,
25.
nobody
You can
does.
rethink it at 30, 40, 50, 60. You
Anytime.
can make changes.
You do not, yeah, I love that. You do not, you definitely, none of us have it all figured out ever. It may appear so, but we definitely
Uh-huh.
don't have
Yeah,
it
yeah,
all
yeah.
figured it out. Oh my gosh. So if you have not checked out the book yet, check it out. Empowering Women in STEM, Book 3. Julia has chapter 7. It is a very interesting chapter, especially if you're into materials and science, or if you want to find out a little bit more about materials and science, or if you want to find out a little about music and, just incorporating all of that. She puts it all together in that chapter on a very nice note. I have to say it like that. I'm sorry. I'm gonna give that joke.
That's okay.
Um, but really good and interesting information. Julia, thank you so much for your time today. I know you're a busy lady, but thank you so much and for dedicating your time and resources into, bringing your chapter to life in the book.
Thanks. I was glad to be part of it.
All right. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.